examinations, a comprehensive exam, necessary x-rays, and first adjustment.
Good morning. Nice to be back with you. We'll get underway here momentarily. I will apologize in advance today. I'm going to be coughing a lot. I can't get rid of this cough. So I feel terrible about it, but there are a lot of people in Central Ohio who appreciate our police and who are deeply saddened when something bad happens to them. They are people who love the United States of America, love law and justice, and unfortunately, none of them, well, I shouldn't say that, very few of them hold positions of influence and impact in Columbus City government, Franklin County government, or the Franklin County court system. I know some really good magistrates, but I don't know very many good judges. I know some really bad judges. And the reason I say we have a lot of good people in Central Ohio who treasure and prize law enforcement is the reaction yesterday, not just in Morrow County, not just in Mount Gilead, the county seat of Morrow County, but throughout Central Ohio, who turned out to pay tribute to Deputy Sheriff Daniel Shearer, who was shot to death by the guy involved in a domestic disturbance that Deputy Shearer was investigating on Memorial Day. The show of support from the law enforcement community was moving, as were the faces of those, some in tears, all others very somber, on the streets of Mount Gilead as Deputy Shearer came home in a long procession that began in Montgomery County, where his body was taken after he was killed on Monday. It is fortunate, lucky, that we're not getting ready to do that again twice for two Mifflin Township police officers who were shot last night by a guy who never should have been on the street to run away from the traffic stop in which he was a passenger, who fired upon them and hit them both in the chest. One was in critical condition, but we're happy to report that officer, unnamed as of yet, neither officer is named, that officer went into surgery and is progressing. It appears that both of them will recover, which thank goodness for that. There is a manhunt for 21-year-old Devontae Dixon. He is charged with attempted murder and 2 counts of felony assault. Devontae Dixon will illustrate my point that there are very few people in Franklin County, in the mayor's office, in the city law director's office, in the prosecutor's office, in the court system, who care anything about the safety of our community or of our particularly law enforcement community. Very few of them, because Mr. Dixon is not a stranger to the court system, which I'm sure doesn't surprise you in the least, and doesn't surprise me in the least. And I can read these details of his past brushes with the law, and I'm outraged by them. You'll be outraged by them, but you won't be surprised by them in the least. Not if you've been a regular listener to this show, because we go through this kind of utter failure from our justice system. How often? At least once a month. At least once a month. I mean, you know, we had the guy, domestic violence, Northern Ohio, different girl, came down here. Judge Michael Holbrook let him out. Now, don't you disappoint me. And then he had already forced his girlfriend out into the street naked in December. Don't you disappoint me. Let him back out. And finally, he murdered her and her unborn child. Okay, great. Fantastic. Yeah, we've done that. We've done this over and over and over again. So, hey, here we are. Devontae Dixon, his background. In July of 2023, he was facing charges of aggravated burglary, kidnapping, domestic violence, possessing a dangerous weapon, aggravated menacing, and 2 counts of having weapons under disability. I don't know if that's mental or some other semantic application of the term. He also had displayed a gun that was an automatic or had a silencer, which if it had a Glock switch, that's highly illegal. And the silencer is most likely illegal because the steps you have to go through to get a legal silencer are steps that I'm pretty doggone sure Devontae Dixon could not have qualified for. 9 months later, he was in court before the ineffectual and horrifically incompetent judge, Kim Brown, who sentenced him to, guess, you know, right? What did we say last week? The kid who shot up the Short North. Big manhunt when he shot up the Short North, went down a street the wrong way, 60 miles an hour, outran the cops on the highway, 100 and some miles an hour. Oh, we got to find him. Andy Ginther's got a mayor's conference coming. We got to call every cop in off overtime. We got to marshal the forces. We got to outlaw parking in the Short North. We got to keep it safe because we can't have Andy looking bad before his national mayor's conference buddies. Because, as I will demonstrate later on in the show, Andy Ginther, lots of perks to being a hoity-toity grand poobah of the national mayor's conference. But we'll save that for later. So then they finally caught the kid last week, and what did he get? 30 days probation. 30 days probation. He shot like and injured 10 people. I think it was 10. Maybe it was 20 some. I forget. Nobody died though. And this dirtball, Devontae Dixon, will probably not face many consequences for shooting 2 Mifflin Township police officers last night. You know what he should get? He should get, in my opinion, death penalty. He's already proven himself to be a complete and utter drain on the community. You cannot rehabilitate a person like this. Jesus can, the court system can't. All right, so he got 6 months. Well, he got 3 years probation. Ooh, wow. Ooh, 3 years probation. Wow, Judge Kim Brown, you're the hanging judge. How many of the 3 years did he serve? Oh, 6 months in the Franklin County-based correction facility, the minimum security diversion program that we told you last week 2 people escaped from, which is, as the story in the dispatch articulated, a routine occurrence at this facility. In 2022, wait, you thought Mr. Dixon had only violated the law in 2023? No. He got 3 years probation, served 6 months for all those charges: aggravated burglary, kidnapping, domestic violence, possessing a dangerous weapon, aggravated menacing, a silencer on his gun. That was 2023. That got him 3 years probation, only 6 months of which he served before he was cut loose. The year prior to that, in 2022, Dixon was charged with 2 counts of domestic violence, aggravated menacing, and assault. You see a pattern developing here with Mr. Dixon? I don't blame the head of Lodge 9 of the Franklin, of the Fraternal Order of Police, Brian Steele, for being outraged by this. He should be outraged by it, but he's also accustomed to it through no fault of his own or any of his officers' faults. Brian Steele says, I don't know what's more disturbing, that Devontae Dixon tried to kill 2 police officers, or that Franklin County courts allowed this violent felon to be released back on the streets on so-called community control. Yes, that is a photo finish, isn't it? In which one of those 2 things is more disturbing. So they're looking for Mr. Dixon, who is certainly presumed to be armed. And we'll see how this ends up. But hey, if I had to predict how this ends up, here is my prediction for how this ends up. Devontae Dixon will not go quietly. Devontae Dixon will scorn the wisdom of turning himself in so that he has not become involved in a violent altercation with Columbus police. Because Devontae Dixon fleeing the scene of an innocuous traffic stop just north of Linden shows that Devontae Dixon has no interest in doing any more time behind bars. He knew, because he had a gun on him, that if the officers found it last night, he would be in violation of his parole and he would be facing a stiff sentence in jail. He does not want to serve a stiff sentence in jail. So how can Devontae Dixon, in his warped mind, make anything out of his so far exceedingly miserable life? Here's how. He can engage with officers in a gunfight, in which he will most assuredly not fare well. Nor will the officers who will be in peril as they were last night. And then you know what comes next, right? Devontae Dixon's family complains about the brutality of Columbus police. And Sean Walton and Shannon Hardin and Mayor Ginther and everybody else in town and Shayla Favor, the prosecutor, they all investigate the cops. And Devontae Dixon's family ends up with millions of dollars in their pocket. That's what will happen. That's my prediction. It's happened before with Casey Goodson. It'll happen again.
Clouds and a couple of showers around tomorrow night, low 59. Breezy on Saturday, clouds and sun, and the high at 69. Mostly sunny, a hazy day on Sunday, high Sunday afternoon at 70. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS anymore. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Bad decisions will make future options. Making bad decisions will destroy your life. Listen to The Flock Line with your host Rick Hughes every Sunday morning at 8 here on 98.9 FM The Answer. The Flock Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flock Line with Rick Hughes. Sunday mornings at 8 right here on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
When life gets busy, the last thing you need is a complicated supplement routine. With Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements, it's simple. Our convenient capsules fit seamlessly into your day, whether you're at home or on the go. Our capsules are ready to go whenever you are. Just take them with water and you're good. No bags, no mess, and no measuring. Our ingredients are a quick and easy way to get a colorful variety of 31 full fruits and vegetables sourced by nature. Skip the hassle and keep it simple with Balance of Nature supplements. Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements today. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 35% off your first preferred set. Don't wait. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. Special offer by using discount code MikeG.
There's a new optimism in the air and a fresh change sweeping across the country. And we think investors like you can have their best year ever. Hello, Brant Frost, founder of First Liberty Building Loans. You hear about a family company all the time right here on this station. Last year, we opened up our First Liberty Notes program to Main Street investors just like you, and the response has been just incredible. Everyday folks from all walks of life have enjoyed 8 to 13% interest rates while helping to fuel the growth of small businesses right here at home. If you're a qualified investor and have a minimum of $25,000, you too could be earning 8 to 13% interest rates. We'd love to have you join our First Liberty family today. Go to firstlibertyga.com and see if our First Liberty are right for you. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. This participation in the First Liberty Notice is intended to constitute the security. It is not FDIC.
See, nasty cough.
By any government agency. You could lose money. First Liberty has never defaulted on any notes where it was the borrower.
Now, you might remember when I was telling you about the Larry Elder event at the Dare Dutchman about a month ago that I told you we had the date for our next station event, but I couldn't give you any details. Well, now I can't. All men, don't get mad at me, ladies. All men are invited to the Men of Courage event, Saturday, July 19th at Northwest Chapel in Dublin. Where is that? 6700 Rings Road between Rings and Cosgray, although they probably can't get there from... No, not between Rings and Cosgray, between Avery and Cosgray. And you probably can't get there on Avery because they're putting in a roundabout. It's the one intersection in Central Ohio that doesn't have a roundabout. Myself, the great Bob Burney, will be there, as will our keynote speaker, Lieutenant General William G. Boykin. This guy is, I mean this in the kindest terms, a badass. 36-year military career, 13-year commander of Delta Force. Any big military event, he's in on it. The hunt for Pablo Escobar, Black Hawk Down, standoff at Waco, Texas, you name it, General Boykin's been in on it. Get to 9890answer.com. We'll give you more details later in the show. So for a brief second, I got to look at the police report of the murder of Morrow County Deputy Daniel Shearer, 31 years old, who was responding to a domestic violence call on Memorial Day. And I didn't think there were any details that could make it more tragic than I already knew it was, because everything we heard about this deputy from Sheriff Hinton in Morrow County painted him as someone who was a selfless public servant. Somebody who loved his job, somebody who took very seriously keeping his community safe, and his disposition was described by everyone as very nice, very friendly, very outgoing. So details in the police report are heartbreaking, because Deputy Shearer drives up, and the guy who shot him and killed him is sitting on the porch. And his first words to Deputy Shearer are a warning to go away because, as the man said, I'm not in the bleeping mood. And, okay, at that point in time, you know, the deputy could have backed off, could have gotten his car, could have gone home. But, of course, he's not going to do that, because he has no idea if the woman is safe. Where is the woman? Where is she? Okay, so he stayed, and he continued to try to engage in conversation with the guy who shot him and killed him. They exchanged, they spoke. You know, it really wasn't a conversation. The anger of Brian Michael Wilson, 53 years old, was certainly easily discernible from the comments that he made, articulated in the police report. He continued to cuss and swear at the deputy. The deputy tried everything he could to de-escalate the situation. And then Brian Wilson fired. And we don't know how many times Deputy Shearer was able to fire back, but we know he hit Brian Wilson because he's in the hospital right now, but he will survive. Obviously, Deputy Shearer did not. But what's in the police report is that Brian Wilson had two guns, and the body cam video and audio from the body cam shows that Mr. Wilson continued to fire and emptied the chambers in his guns, and you can hear clicking on the audio from the body cam, which signifies that had he more bullets in the magazine, of whichever one of the two handguns he had in his hand last, he would have continued to fire at the deputy. This underscores the danger of being in law enforcement, because it's Memorial Day, it's a holiday, it's a day for cookouts, it's a day for parades, it's a day for, you know, a break from the normal routine. And whatever happened at this house, whatever domestic disagreement took place between Brian Wilson and the woman there, I presume his wife, we don't have a lot of details on that right now. The call comes in, Deputy Shearer responds, he goes out there, and you can say, and I know I told you the other day, domestic violence incidents are the most dangerous, but I don't know. Maybe I don't have a law enforcement mindset. I would tend to think that you would not anticipate, but you would certainly gain a heightened awareness of the danger of the situation, the way Brian Wilson responded to the deputy as he initially approached him. But here's a comment from Brian Steele again, Lodge 9 president, Fraternal Order of Police. This job is one of the most impossible jobs and one of the easiest jobs in the world for people who don't do it. Every man and every woman in law enforcement, this is on their minds right now. Yeah, 100%. So we will, I'm sure, get charges. Right now it's aggravated murder, but it's going to be more. It's going to be the murder of a police officer, understandably carries much, much stiffer penalties. And so I'd be in favor of the death penalty for this guy. From the exchange they had with the deputy, you full well know that he had ample opportunities to disengage, put his gun down, discuss the matter. What happens if we don't have a report that, you know, the woman is dead? So he didn't commit a crime that's going to put him behind bars. Unfortunately for him, he committed whatever he did domestic violence wise in Morrow County, where I'm sure they have a dimmer view of domestic violence than they do in Franklin County. But he has now ruined scores of lives, ending the life of this deputy, and putting this poor deputy's parents through the worst kind of loss you can have, the loss of a child. Deputy Shearer was not married, but he had many, many friends in Morrow County. And small towns, I grew up in one, feel this on such a deep personal level. You could tell that from the faces of the people who lined the streets yesterday in Mount Gilead when he came out. They're carrying flags, they're crying, they're somber. I mean, yesterday was not Memorial Day, right? Yesterday's a work day for people. But people took the time to come out on the street and to express, in the only way that they can at this point in time, their support for Deputy Shearer, what he meant to their community, and what should never have happened. Should never have happened. But people do crazy things, and evil is very prevalent in our world. And I will underscore why evil is so prevalent in our world with some audio that it's probably geographically as far away from Morrow County as you can get in the United States of America, but it is quintessentially representative of the mindset that prevails out there in Franklin County, in big cities, and why police officers like these two from Mifflin Township and like Daniel Shearer are constantly in danger.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Some Chinese students in the U.S. may soon be shown the door. Secretary of State Rubio says their backgrounds will be closely scrutinized. Any students with ties to the Chinese Communist Party and who are engaged in critical areas of study will have their visas revoked. The U.S. Court of International Trade has ruled against President Trump's tariffs. The White House is appealing the court's finding that exceeded his authority. The administration says it's not for unelected judges to decide how to properly address a national emergency. Elon Musk is leaving the Trump administration after leading DOGE, the effort to combat government waste, fraud,
Okay,
and
thanks. I gotta find Matt.
On Wall Street, stocks in
know
positive
what I did with my
territory
phone.
this morning. The Dow is up 58 points. The Nasdaq ahead 162. More details at srnnews.com.
Where's my phone?
Dennis Prager here. You've heard me say that the more you
There you are.
appreciate what you have, the happier you will be. I also think you need to protect what you have. Did you know that last year, 1 in 10 Americans was targeted for real estate fraud? Imagine waking up one morning to find that all of your hard-earned equity has been stolen. There's a company that I endorse that stops these crimes from happening to you. That company is Equity Protect. And the truth is, if you own your own home, mortgage-free, or you have high equity, you should have Equity Protect. Right now, Equity Protect is offering my listeners a great deal, 30% off your first year. Just go to equityprotect.com/Prager. That's equityprotect.com/Prager. Use the discount code Prager30. Once you have Equity Protect, you don't even need to check. You can trust the team at
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer. Anywhere you go, with The Answer. Mobile app at 989theanswer.com. On your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart. I'm CPA Brad Hemberg with Premier Tax CPA. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we'll work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888. Hey, it's Paul George from the Paul George Real Estate Show with your homeowner tip of the week. Don't fall for deed scams. After you close on your house, you'll receive a deed in the mail after the sale is recorded. Afterwards, you'll be solicited to buy an official deed on fancy paper for $100. It's a scam. If you're looking for a trusted realtor, reach out for more information at paulgeorgerealestate.com. Every week, I give a homeowner tip of the week. So tune in to the Paul George Real Estate Show Saturdays at 8 a.m. or catch up on the podcast on any major podcast platform. You've seen him on Fox News,
Devontae Dixon.
and the Salem News Channel, and TomHall.com.
Devontae Dixon.
Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on your station for news, opinion, and passion. 98.9 FM, The Answer.
All right, so more details on the announcement that I gave last break about the Men of Courage event, July 19th, Northwest Chapel in Dublin, between Avery and Cosgray Road on Rings Road, 6700 Rings Road. But again, access it off Cosgray because Rings is closed at Rings and Avery. All right, General William Boykin, as I said, a man of unbelievable courage and an unbelievable military background, will be the keynote speaker. Doors will open at 9:30 a.m. We'll get started at 10 a.m. Lunch right after the event around 11:30 a.m. Tickets are limited. Guarantee your spot by getting your tickets at 989theanswer.com. General Boykin, Special Forces, Counterterrorism, was part of the Iran hostage crisis response team in 1980, 13-year commander of Delta Force, founder and president of Kingdom Warriors and executive vice president of the Family Research Council. Ooh, what a resume this guy has. Can't wait to hear from him. July 19th. Hope to see you there. All right, a little clarity from the first story we hit today, the shooting of 2 Mifflin Township police officers. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement. I'm grateful for all of them. And one of the many charges on the resume of the man who is now being hunted by Central Ohio law enforcement, Devontae Dixon, 21 years old, who was passenger in a car that was stopped last night north of Linden around 6:40 p.m. Devontae Dixon now charged with attempted murder and 2 counts of felony assault, has a long criminal record, and I'm noted that he was out on probation. Probation. Oh, they call it community control, except there is no control. This community is out of control, and its community control program is out of control. So in July of 2023, Dixon was charged with aggravated burglary, kidnapping, domestic violence, possessing a dangerous ordinance, in other words, weapons or bullets or both, aggravated menacing, and this was the mystifying charge. 2 counts of having weapons under disability. So what is having weapons under disability? Shout out to one of my police friends who says weapons under disability applies if you're a fugitive from justice, if you've been convicted of certain felonies or domestic violence, drug dependent, alcohol dependent, or a court has decided you are mentally incompetent and can't provide a firearm. The latter, he says, is very rare. In other words, basically, this is a prior conviction for a crime. It is a 3rd-degree felony. So he's on probation despite committing multiple felonies. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, we have another instance, and I'm just about to play you 88 seconds that demonstrates exactly why we have rotten, incompetent judges like Kim Brown, who gave Devontae Dixon probation for all those felonies. 3 years probation. He served 6 months. Now he's out shooting at Mifflin Township police officers. I'm about to demonstrate to you the mindset that prevails on the left in this country, and why judges like Kim Brown and why prosecutors, I use the word loosely, like Shayla Favor exist. Because they're able to survive in democratic stinkhole cities, which almost all of the cities are, without any accountability for their utter and complete failures that imperil the lives of citizens and peace officers. Authorities in Texas have identified 2 suspects in the jet ski hit and run accident that killed an 18-year-old kayaker last week. She was on her way to the Air Force when she was mowed down by 2 illegals on a jet ski, who then fled the scene. Lovely. Out in Seattle, Raul Benitez Santana is a 33-year-old citizen of Mexico. What? He has been in the country illegally 9 times. 9 times. On March the 2nd, 2024, Mr. Benitez Santana was drunk and driving his van on a Seattle highway, where a poor, unfortunate soul named Washington State Trooper Christopher Gadd had parked his SUV along the highway, probably after a traffic stop, and he was finishing up doing his paperwork. Benitez Santana, with his foot all the way to the floor of the accelerator of his vehicle, ran into the back of Trooper Gadd's vehicle and killed him at the scene. Mr. Santana is now charged with vehicular homicide and vehicular assault. But here's his lawyer in court giving you 88 seconds as to why we continue to have stories like the one in Texas, stories like this one, stories like Mifflin Township, stories like the police officer, the deputy sheriff in Morrow County, why we continue to have criminals who should not be on the street or illegals who should not be in our country committing crimes. Because this is the mindset of people defending people who do things like drive drunk, run into the back of a Washington State Trooper's SUV, kill him, and then are represented in court with people whose minds are so open they have apparently fallen out.
Early morning hours, May 2nd, 2024. A series of unfortunate circumstances collided in one of the darkest stretches of I-5. And that coming together of these unfortunate circumstances led to a tragic accident. We had a blacked out SUV parked on the side of the road, giving no warning to any other driver on the road that night of its presence. We had a black SUV traveling above the posted speed limit, and we had a white van being driven by a sleep-deprived and inexperienced driver who forgot to turn on his headlights.
Oh, right.
And when these three circumstances collided, not only did it result in a catastrophic accident, it resulted in the tragic death of Trooper Gadd, but it is not a crime. Not all car accidents are crimes.
Okay, I want to give you a little bit of time to finish shouting at your radio for what you just heard. This illegal was not driving drunk with his lights off. I left that part out. And crashed into the back of a trooper's SUV parked off the road. So you think that's what happened? Those are the details I gave you. But see, the lawyer says that what it really was a series of unfortunate circumstances that collided. Not a drunk, illegal Mexican with his lights off ramming into the back of a trooper's SUV. No, that's not what happened. The collision was of a series of unfortunate circumstances. And it was, after all, one of the darkest stretches of highway on I-5, which, I would say, maybe turn your lights on then. If it's that dark out. And it was a tragic, quote, coming together of these circumstances that led to a tragic outcome. And I might also add a completely and utterly preventable outcome. Don't drive drunk. Don't veer off the road. Turn your lights on or stay in Mexico. How about that? The parked SUV parked along the side of the road. See, the trooper's at fault. What's he doing? Parking his car alongside the road. That's the implication. The trooper's at fault. And then the poor Raul Benitez Santana, drunk. But see, the real debilitating problem with Mr. Santana was not that he was drunk, not that he was driving with his lights off, not that he couldn't keep his vehicle on the highway. It was that he was sleep deprived and an inexperienced driver. He just forgot to turn on his lights. I have had it with this. I'm over this. I'm done with this. Every single one of the illegals needs to go. I don't want to hear a single stop story. Not one. Everyone who breaks the law, whatever the law is, every criminal law that is violated, you need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Of course, this is my utopian solution to all of this for all of us who have lived our lives and have come to one unmistakable realization. And that is that it is not difficult to stay out of the back of a police car. It really isn't.
Clouds and sun will this afternoon. Our high today at 75. Clouds a bit of rain late tonight and the low 58. Periods of rain for late morning on tomorrow, the high 69. And a couple of showers around tomorrow, 55. Breezy on Saturday, clouds and sun, and the high at 69. Mostly sunny, a hazy day on Sunday, high Sunday afternoon at 70. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Has the recent storms impacted your house? The Metal Roof Company not only specializes in working with your insurance company, but also specializes in all trades on the outside of your home. Roofing, siding, soffit, fascia, gutters, windows, and in some cases we can install a metal roof for the same price as a shingle roof. So remember, folks, don't settle, buy metal. Call 614-721-ROOF or reach out to us on the web at themetalroofcompany.com.
Larry Elder here, and I'm excited to tell you about my new movie called Electric Vehicles, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Now, I love my gas-powered car, but I also care about the planet. And so I pose the question, are EVs really better than gas-powered vehicles?
An electric vehicle
Is whooping cough a
is
thing?
a computer with 4 wheels and some seats.
Torque is instantaneous. The batteries are lasting very long. Charging them at your house using solar is amazing.
What do you do with these batteries when they go bad? Long distance, they create anxiety. Sitting in the parking lot, just burst into flames.
The components are made in China, so there could be tracking mechanisms put into Americans' cars.
We're going to be relying on China.
It's not just a movie about cars. It's about how we choose to shape our future and the ethical, environmental, and security issues they create. Electric Vehicles, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, produced by Impactful Pictures. Watch it or buy the DVD now at salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433. 800-965-1433.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Time is running out. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime this summer? Join me, Mike Gallagher, along with Larry Elder on the Patriots Alaska Cruise, August 16th through the 23rd. This is your chance to experience Alaska's breathtaking wilderness while engaging in exclusive conversations about America's future with hundreds of like-minded patriots. That's not all. Special guests Jennifer Horn and Joe Piscopo will be on board for this once-in-a-lifetime journey. It's a summer vacation you will never forget. Now, staterooms are filling fast, so don't wait. Text the keyword TRAVEL to 94878 for details and the way to secure your spot. Just text TRAVEL to 94878 for this summer's Patriots Alaska Cruise. Explore majestic glaciers, fjords, and wildlife, all while discussing the most pressing issues of our time with hundreds of like-minded patriots. It's a wonderful summer vacation. Act now. Text the word TRAVEL to 94878 before it's too late.
Patriots Alaska Cruise still available for you too. I know that July 19th men's event at Northwest Chapel sounds appealing. But hey, if you'd like to get out of the midsummer heat of Central Ohio and cruise along the beautiful scenery of Alaska, Stevens Passage and Ketchikan, Juneau, Sitka, as well as British Columbia, Victoria, British Columbia to be exact, then you need to join Larry Elder and Mike Gallagher on the Patriots Alaska Cruise. You'll leave from Seattle on August the 16th, spend the next day at sea, and then hit all the spots along the Alaska coastline that are fantastic that you've heard others rave about when they've gone on similar trips. You, however, will have the added benefit of excellent conservative lectures and talks and exchanges with other like-minded patriots at night aboard the Holland America cruise liner. You'll return to port on August the 23rd. For all the details, you can go to travelwithsalem.com. That's travelwithsalem.com. After I made my way through the utterly depressing headlines of Morrow County Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Shearer coming home yesterday, and all the wonderful people who turned out to pay tribute to him, waving flags, and just somberly watching the procession of myriad law enforcement vehicles. And after I after my anger subsided a little bit, not a lot, because it's still running hot over how stupid our court system is here in Franklin County, allowing 21-year-old Devontae Dixon to even be out on the street to shoot 2 Mifflin Township police officers last night. I found my way down to another couple headlines. And here is one that caught my eye. Columbus Mayor Ginther are finalists for a national award. And I thought to myself, what kind of an award could Andrew Ginther qualify for? And I tried to mine the nether reaches of my brain and be creative. And I thought, probably Customer of the Month at Golden Corral. And then I thought, no, maybe I underestimate Mayor Andrew Ginther. Maybe he's up for a bigger award. Maybe something like the, I don't know, United Demolition Experts of America Award for destroying a once great American city. It turns out I was wrong on both counts, although not by much. Andrew Ginther and the city of Columbus are finalists. Congratulations. For the 2025 Golden Padlock. Purdue 2024 cyber that Mayor Ginther, between trips around the Scarlet and Gray golf course, initially downplayed the severity of the data breach, only to be contradicted a few hours later by someone who actually knows how to turn on a computer. What did the city of Columbus do to that poor whistleblower who dared to contradict the mayor's very firm statement that the data was encrypted and it was utterly unuseful to anyone out there, which was categorically wrong? The city, of course, in the interest of full transparency to the citizenry, sued the whistleblower and stopped him from talking to the local media. Therefore, an organization called the Investigative Reporters and Editors, a national journalism association, has named Ginther and the city among 5 finalists for the Golden Padlock Award. Who are the other finalists? I think Andy's got a good chance. When you put everything you're doing on your Twitter account, I don't really think you're putting a golden padlock on anything. So, Elon, you're in the clear. The Department of Homeland Security. Is this for Alejandro Mayorkas saying the border's closed? Or is this for Tom Homan and Kristi Noem actually closing the border? If it's for the former, okay, then it's robust competition for Andy. But if it's the latter, which my guess is it is the latter, because the other nominee is the Department of Justice under President Trump. What? The Department of Justice under President Trump that opened up the JFK files. The Department of Justice under President Trump that is now looking into January 6th. And I'll have more on that from Kash Patel's interview with Brett Baer in hour number 2 after we talk to Matt Mayer of OpportunityOhio.org. You know, I think since Trump is named and his Department of Justice is named, I think the Department of Homeland Security that is nominated for this award is probably Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, which means, you know, Andy's going to win. He should win. On August the 13th of 2024, Andrew Ginther told everyone in town that the stolen data released online was encrypted and corrupted and totally unusable. And then a hacker came forward and said, no, I've got it all here. I got social security numbers. I got anybody who went into City Hall. I got water department bills. I got Columbus police officers, including undercover officers, home addresses. I have witnesses' personal information, which, you know, might be a problem if you're a witness in a case and maybe the person who's on trial, assuming they're not out on community control already, if they're actually confined, which how often does that happen? they might want to come looking for you. Maybe they can find your information online. Not according to Andrew Ginther. Here's what the Investigative Reporters and Editors Association said of Columbus's efforts and Andrew Ginther's efforts in this regard. City officials have since refused interviews and delayed public records requests. To date, they have still not acknowledged why the mayor told the public their personal data was not at risk. The city is now facing 2 class action lawsuits over the handling of the data. Oh yeah, what is the status of those 2 class action lawsuits? We don't know because Columbus, City of Columbus, has filed motions in Franklin County Common Pleas Court to dismiss both lawsuits in the interest of full transparency, which of course to the City of Columbus means hiding it under a rock. When are we going to get a final report on the data hack? Jordan Laird of the Dispatch reports that there is, quote, no timeline for the report on the cyber attack. And the spokesperson for Andrew Ginther, not Ginther himself, again, tea time, memorial tournament in town, lots of hands to shake and donors to hit up for money, which we'll get to that, why he's doing that momentarily. Melanie Craybill says that the City of Columbus is still working on its report and that she has no timeline for when it will be completed. That's funny because I remember when they said it would be completed in October or November. They didn't specify the year, so maybe I assumed it was 2024. And it will. Will it be 2025 or will it be later? Whenever it is, the chances are Andrew Ginther will be the mayor because, in a related headline, Andrew Ginther has already announced that he will seek a 4th term as mayor. Yes. You said, wait a minute, didn't he just get elected to his 3rd term? Yes, he did. When will he have to run for re-election? 2027. 2027? He's like 2 years and 6 months, 2.5 years. He's served less of his 3rd term than remains, and he's already announcing that he's going to run for a 4th term. And why wouldn't he? Because we also have a story that we'll talk with you about at 12:35 today that details Andrew Ginther's travel spending that was expensed, of course, and billed to you. Did you get the thank you note from Andy for his trips to Italy, Sweden, Denmark, South Africa, and Morocco in the past calendar year? Did you get your thank you note? Did you get a postcard from Andy and his wife and his daughter? They all went to South Africa. You paid for it. No wonder he's running for a 4th term. If the law doesn't prevent it, and it didn't because Mike Coleman served 4 terms, why would Andrew Ginther leave the greatest grift of all time, serving in an office for which there is absolutely zero accountability?
Dr. Schreiner here from I frequently see patients tell me, my doctor couldn't find anything wrong, but I know something isn't right. Last month, a patient came to me after...
What a deal. What a deal. Some people fall into it, don't they? Whew. All right, you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully I won't have the cough, but I probably will. Shout out to the Florida Panthers and Sergei Bobrovsky, my daughter's favorite hockey player.
As a chiropractor, I look at the
I can't say he's my favorite hockey player because I'm a big Nick Foligno guy. But Bob, back to the Stanley Cup Finals, 3rd year in a row. Awesome.
Issues that confound conventional testing often respond remarkably well to chiropractic.